Hey guys, Kyle here with the Mortgage Celebrity Studio. I'm here with Nicole Heller from Choice Realty Group, and I brought her in because we've had Kelly in before. We've had a few other team members, but she was one of the ones I was most excited to talk to because she's had such a kind of fast rise. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So first and foremost, you chose real estate not too long ago. I think you're kind of newer to it. When did you get started?
So this is my fourth year
Okay.
going into, midway through, I guess now. And I got started basically shortly after the pandemic.
Okay. And was there something that coincided with the pandemic that made you kind of get into real estate?
Well, for a long time, I worked in high-end fashion. So I was clienteling and styling people in, a higher-end industry.
Okay.
And when the pandemic happened, there was no in-person styling happening. So I was in Manhattan at the time, and I moved back to the area. I wasn't sure if I was going to be here forever, but I knew I loved people, and I knew I loved helping people. So I saw what Kelly was doing, actually, and I reached out to her because I didn't know what to do up here that would fit my personality and also make me happy, but I'd be successful at, whereas no one's paying me to dress them here. So it was just, I had to find a different avenue.
Is there something that translates from the high-end fashion world, like to what you were doing before with clients, into real estate? Like, if you were able to use the same skill set?
Yeah, I feel like actually it benefited me a lot because in high-end fashion, we're clienteling. So we're sticking with those people and we're making a book of, their sizes and stuff like that, but about their lifestyle, right? Like how many kids do they have, all of that, and we're keeping in touch with them. So with real estate, it really benefited me because it's something I was already doing and already consistent at and kind of good at. So I just translated it into my real estate business, which I feel maybe a lot of real estate agents don't do, is clientele their clients and actually get to know them so that they're with them long term.
Yeah, I mean, it's just getting to know somebody,
Right.
actually caring about the things that they're interested
That they
in,
care
and then you
about.
can better serve them.
Right.
Yeah, that's really cool. So 4 years ago, you got started. And when I was speaking with Kelly, she said that you had a very good year last year. And then this year, you've kind of taken off and done even better. We don't need to get into specific numbers, but what do you think? Well, I guess first and foremost, you started on a team on Kelly's team.
Correct.
Is this something you think you could have done on your own?
No.
What is it about Kelly's team and the way that she runs her team that makes you think that, it just has done well for you?
Yeah. I mean, leverage, honestly. She really gives you the leverage to stand out. From the day that I told her I wanted to get into real estate and help me, I actually had my real estate license in New York first, and my broker there just threw a list in front of me and said, call. And I didn't know what to say. So I called Kelly and was like, hey, I'm going to transfer everything to Pennsylvania. How do I do this? And she really trained me. She really gave me the skill set to actually do the job, whereas the classes are great, right? You learn the back end and the, legal stuff, right? Like what's a lien and all of that. But you're not learning like how to deal with actual clients on the day-to-day. And I think she really invests in us and invests in what we know knowledge-wise and our skill set so that we can perform and give our clients the best experience. So I was confident walking into what I was doing even early on.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like I know how to talk to people. Just help me be in this profession, help me learn and teach me what I need to know to be a real estate agent. And
to
from
be
talking
successful
with a few of you guys, it sounds like your team meetings are really in depth. You guys do a lot of trainings. And I think, this is a good message for somebody who wants to get involved into real estate because what they see on HGTV is this one person leading, but they don't see the 15, 20 years leading up to that point where they're, learning from the best who do it in the area now. And Kelly certainly is one of those people.
Yeah.
So before you were doing fashion, you get into real estate, you start off, what does your first year look like?
My first year, was a lot of grinding and hustling, to be honest, to try to get it started. I did a lot of training in the beginning and then really just connecting and building a database.
Do you remember how many homes you sold, bought, or
I
sold?
think my first year I did 9.
9? That's very good for your first year.
And it took me about 3.5, 4 months to get my first under agreement, but I literally sat at my dining room table and just called besides going to the gym. Like I was focused.
And so first year you did 9. Most of them buy side, sell side, a little bit of everything?
More buy side probably my first year.
Okay.
Yeah, easier to get into, and I was a little more confident working with them than a seller in the beginning.
Okay. And then second year, what does that look like?
Pretty much just shy of doubling my volume from the year before, and just it was basically split. Yeah, leaned more towards the sellers. I started doing trainings with, I don't know if Kelly mentioned, like Love or You. She really focuses on them. They're a good real estate resource.
Okay.
And essentially from there, I forget what I was saying. Sorry.
The Glover U for the training?
For the trainings, right.
Yeah.
So they focus mainly on selling, on the seller side, listing sides of business. So I started gravitating towards that because our trainings.
Do you like that better than buy side?
I do. I mean, it's hard to say because I really just like people. So it's really helping the person. And I do both. So it really, to me, I think selling side, it does give you your time back. So like if I'm a very family oriented person. So I want to spend time with my family, my nephews, my nieces, and, to buy your time back if you're working with a seller,
so you can have this job and have a family
and have
too?
a life, right? Yeah, and have a life, right? Whereas the buyer side, sometimes you're running, for 8 hours, 10 hours for the day, and then
lots
where
of
do you have that
showings.
time, right?
Yeah, I view this is just my mortgage side, the way that my brain likes to view it, but I view the sell side as like you're stepping into somebody's house, a place they've lived for sometimes 20, 30 years, and you're going to tell them like, hey guys, we got some stuff we need to do here without trying to offend them.
Right.
And it's really, you're going into their life. And so like when I pull somebody's credit report, I feel that it's the same kind of intimacy. You're really getting a peek behind the curtain. So it's a push and pull, I guess, if you will, that, you kind of have to be nice, but you also have to say the things maybe that they don't want to hear.
Right.
And I think there's an art to that. But like we were talking about before, when you are just trying to be personable, trying to help, but coming from a place of just trying to help, it usually comes off pretty genuine because it is genuine.
Yeah.
So second year, you do very well, almost double your production. What does year 3 look like?
Year 3, I did 5 or 6 more than the year before, not counting like helping some of my investors with rentals, which was, I did take on a few, too many maybe. But so I just kept growing really. And my second year or my third year, I did start a training program in the beginning of the year. Okay. So every January, Kelly actually takes us to a conference where we all, invest 4 or 5 days of our life into growing and learning new things in the business so that we can get better for our clients. From there, there's different programs you can pay and buy into and get better. I did a 76 hard, which is like the real estate version of a 75 hard. And it completely blew my business out of the water. I definitely transitioned more to the listing side through that because it was through the organization where they're listing focused. But yeah, it really changed everything for me, and my consistency just continued and got better.
So 75 hard, for those of you who don't know, is, it's really taking you out of your comfort zone. You're doing a workout inside, a workout outside, reading 10 pages of a book a day. Some of it, I think, consists of even doing an act of kindness every day or talking to a stranger every day. again, just taking you out of your comfort zone. So what are some of the things that 76 Hard does? I would assume it's kind of along the same lines of taking you out of your comfort zone.
Basically, yeah. So every day there were challenges that you had to do, but it relied on your training video. So they had a training that coincided with it. So every morning I would actually get up super early because I start calling at 8 a.m. So I would get up and be at my computer by 7, watching the half-hour training, doing a role play with somebody who else was in the program. So you do script
like
role
Zoom?
playing on the phone because you're normally talking to a client on the phone, so you're not going to see them.
Okay.
So over the phone, and then writing my scripts out. From there, then there were tasks to do. So whether it's call your sphere and invite them to something or tell them about what you're doing, which was hard for me in the beginning. I didn't want to call my sphere because I didn't want to sound salesy to my friends and family. So that pushed me out of my comfort zone because I had to. Door knocking, I don't love, right? But it, like, some of the challenges were get like 10 doors today, right?
Yeah.
So you had to do it. What other things were
How
there?
did you pick what doors to knock on?
So I have like an area that I'm farming that it's my my aunt and uncle actually lived there, so they lived there pretty much since we moved to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
We're originally from New York, but nevertheless, lived here for a while. So that neighborhood, I know a lot of people in. They always had the grad parties and stuff like that. So all the families for their kids and stuff. So I'd probably just choose that neighborhood to do, or near a listing that I sold or a buyer's
Okay.
home that I sold.
So you're going through that program. You sell about, I think it was like 20 homes in your
20
third
something.
year. Yeah. And so, and you attribute a lot of that success to Kelly, to 76 Hard. And now we're in our 4th year. And how many year to date roughly are you at today?
I think I'm around 16.
Okay. And so almost at the same level that you finished last year at. So if you're following, it's just every year you're just doubling your production. So by year 8, you're probably, not going to remember any of
Kelly. No, I'm just kidding.
You're not going to remember any of us, but no, but that's awesome. I mean, and that's kind of the success story that, we like to see and we like to spotlight, but it's more of a spotlight on the effort that you're putting in. It's not something where it's like a part-time thing for you. You called Kelly right away when you first got into it and were like, this is what I want to do. How do I get involved? And there's so many other teams that I've worked with in the past where they do just hand you that sheet and say, here, cold call, and they don't give you the training.
Yeah.
So with Kelly's team, you're getting this training. Are you still finding the trainings useful? You're now more seasoned. You've done a lot of transactions. How is this continuing to grow?
So even though, like, I feel you say I'm more seasoned, but I always try to stay green and try to stay new. And I think that there's always something to learn in this business. So consistency through education is always great. You are never too good or too seasoned to continue learning and continue growing. And I think that's what keeps us ahead of the game and separates us from the rest, because we're not just hanging on to our morals of this is how it was done. Things change all the time, just like social media, right? Half the agents didn't even want to do it, but now we're all on screen because that's the new wave, and we have to be able to transition.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say how many times I've heard a real estate agent who's been doing this 20, 30 years, and then they call me when something comes up and they go, in my 20, 30 years, I've never seen this. And it's like, well, things do change, you know? And you do have to stay on top of what's going on. We changed to video. You guys changed to video. We do podcasts. It's kind of becoming a thing now among the real estate and mortgage world. So you kind of always have to be evolving if you want to stay on top. And it's also just being in front of the right people. So I forgot what I wanted to ask. It was along the lines of Kelly's team.
With the trainings with the trainings?
No, because I wanted to talk about, listings.
Okay.
So you've done a bunch now, even buyer side. You've had a lot of unique ones, I'm sure. Can you remember any specific memorable ones or unique ones that really stand out to you as maybe a learning experience or maybe a I won't do that again moment?
Do that again.
I mean, even if it was like a good memory of helping somebody with a listing, a tough one.
So I remember when I first started taking on listings, like a little bit more seriously and focusing on them. I did have one that they had listed a little bit high with another agent. They didn't
Mhm.
have any success, and then I got them to list a little bit lower, but we were still a little bit on the higher end. We did get a solid offer. However, when we appraised, we didn't appraise to that value. Now this is now the seller like was not accepting any less. So I think it's just about communicating what could happen, and that, you know, for that I was able to negotiate and get them to match the price,
Mhm.
but it's not always going to happen.
No.
So just advising in the beginning when I'm talking to a client and making sure that they're okay with the price that we're setting. So we set a list price hoping to get those multiple offers and everything. And yes, we did get it eventually, like 11 days later, higher, two offers and over asking,
Yeah.
but, or two or three or whatever it was. But just prefacing before, and I think I've done a good job since then, because I don't want them to feel like I didn't explain it enough, where they think that just because they got that offer price that they're going to get that in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how many times I've seen an agent get a listing because they just were a yes man. They just told
Oh yeah.
the seller what they wanted to hear as far as price. But
Mm-hmm.
man, if I could give any advice to a seller out there, it's to list on that lower side of
Right.
that range. That way, you give the ability, like somebody thinks this is a good deal,
Right.
and then you get multiple offers, and you see it time and time again. But I don't know how many times you could scream it from the rooftops, and it's just you're not going to get everybody to listen, and
Yeah.
that's where the for sale by owners come from, and they eventually find out the hard way. But yeah, so I've just been very impressed with how Kelly was talking about you. 4 years in, doing a great job. I'm 15 years, almost 15 years in doing this, and I have not. I mean, you see success stories all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
to double your production every year, that's a tough pace to keep up with. So we'll see if you do it
Yeah.
this year as well.
Yeah.
But it's a fun goal to have.
It is. And honestly, we all on our team set goals, and we all know each other's goals, so we keep each other accountable to them. And I think honestly, like seeing somebody else be able to do it, like how Kelly has done it, and seeing what her life looks like,
Mhm.
right? Like down to like, yeah, the car, the house, the luxury vacations she gets to take,
Mhm.
and the client base she's gotten to build. She doesn't even have to make calls, right? Like somebody just randomly calls her and is like, hey, I
Yeah.
need to list my house. Like to get to that level is the goal. And seeing how she did it, it only makes me
Yeah.
hungrier and to work harder to get to her level and be able to give my clients that experience.
And the other part is, her being able to put time and energy into something she cares about, like the pups,
Right.
like doing stuff with the foster dogs. And I mean, I think that's really cool,
Yeah.
because she chooses to do that. It's not something that she's doing
Mm-hmm.
because she has to. So that's
Right.
obviously something we all strive for,
Yeah.
to do something that we love.
Passionate about, yeah.
If you were talking to somebody who is starting in real estate today, give them some advice. What would you have told yourself? I mean, obviously you made the right decision in calling Kelly, but somebody doesn't have access to Kelly.
Right.
What would you tell them?
Set a schedule and stay consistent to it. Lead generation is your best friend. And if you don't do that every day, your business isn't going to grow. And really, you just have to work for it. You really have to want it and know your why, and hustle for the end result. It's worth it in the end. It really is, but you gotta be all in or all out.
Got to burn the boats. Well, cool. I want to do more videos with you as far as like the educational component of it. I
Okay.
think we can really dive into the listing side of that. Maybe some helpful things for sellers to understand when deciding what real estate agent to use, because there's plenty of choices out there.
Yeah.
What to look for. I mean, just a whole, because most of the people that I deal with are buyer side.
Right.
They need a mortgage. So a
Mhm.
lot of the agents that I work with are buyer agents, but I don't get to talk as much about the seller side of things. And it fascinates me because, like I said, I view it as like a more intimate transaction than the
Yeah.
buyer transaction.
And a lot
So,
of times the seller transaction leads to the buyer transaction. I
yeah,
have one right now that's, unfortunately they're getting a divorce, but it led into I have to help them both buy a home, right? So you're really engulfed in their life. And I know a lot more than probably just an agent that's just going to go sell the house, right?
yeah,
I know, what their goals are and where they want to be and what led them to separate and all the things. So you're really in part of these people's life and a big part of their journey, right? This is a big step for them. They're leaving each other, they're starting new paths, and you have to be their like rock really
yeah,
through it.
yeah. I mean, that's a tough situation. I also have dealt with a lot of different
Hmm.
divorces, whether it's amicable or not,
Right,
and those can be awkward, but at the same time, you have to do your job,
right.
and you have to give them the best advice that you can.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do this again.
Okay.
Where can people find you?
Um,
Instagram
Instagram, yeah, Nicole.Heller _ I guess it's like
and Facebook. You're on there as
Facebook. I'm on
well.
Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, you can email me, call me.
Do you do a lot of videos, a lot of tips, helpful stuff? What could people expect when they see your profile?
So I do a lot of videos as far as listing videos and stuff like that. I try to do some tips here and there, but really, my page, I want you to know who I am, and know that I'm not just a robotic real estate agent. I have a personality, and you'll get to know me through my page. You'll see family, faith, and fashion, probably.
Cool. Well, I
Mhm.
love that. Well, this has been the Mortgage Celebrity Studio with Nicole Heller, and we are definitely going to have her back. But we thank her for coming in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.